We have all sorts of cool videos on there.
Hello, Facebook. We're out at the Fox Island Sandspit. We've got an awesome broadcast planned. We've already seen, like, just getting to the shore, we've seen 1,000 kelp crab. It's been amazing. I'm out here with the fabulous Lindsay Stover.
Hello.
Woohoo! And we're just out looking to see what kind of animals that we can see. Hopefully a few of our friends from TikTok are going to join us as well, because we told them to, and they're very obedient people. So if you are joining us from TikTok, if you want to say hi in the comments, if you want to post your location, let us know where you're watching from. We love to know that information. But we're just kind of coming along the side of the beach and taking a look to see what's here. And right away, we're seeing just tons and tons of these kelp crabs. Kelp crabs, these are northern kelp crabs, and we've got both males and females gathered here. I can show you the difference. The males have very, very like long and big pinchers. They look like they're all elbows, whereas the females, their pinchers kind of match the rest of their legs. Let me find another male for you. Here's a smaller juvenile male. You can see he's all elbows compared to the females. And these crabs are quite crabby. We are seeing a lot of activity here as they're chasing one another and posturing and threatening one another. They're not the only crustaceans that are here, though. We're also seeing tons and tons of little shrimp friends. These are Sitka shrimp and broken back shrimp, and I think there's even some eelgrass shrimp and things in there. Lots and lots of them. And then earlier we saw a big swarm, and you can just kind of see their shadows more than anything, of these euphasids or mysid shrimp. And they're a really important food source for tons and tons of animals. So that's a good sign when we see all these little tasty crustaceans. We're also seeing lots of leather sea stars, but I just noticed right out there is a mottled sea star. But to get to it, I have to walk past all these crabs very slowly.
You can go this way. It's a little bit clearer here.
I think I'm okay. I think I can get close and then just zoom in. But I've spotted our first mottled sea star, as well as a fairly large leather sea star there. We'll wait for our ripples to stop here for a second so we can focus. But this is one of the larger sea star species that we see in the area. The mottled sea stars, I always say the way to tell the difference between them and the ochre stars, which are the other large stars, is to remember that to walk down the catwalk, you need long, long legs. And so these mottled sea stars are similar to that. Of course, it is mottled with a T because of their mottled coloration, but still the mnemonic works pretty well. I've got a nice big kelp crab coming along top, going for its spot in the spotlight, I suppose. All right, now I gotta make my way across Crab Alley to get back to where I was. Okay.
A lot of missing appendages.
Yeah, these crabs have it rough with so many in this small area. They're territorial. They're crabby. Look, we got a showdown happening right here between these two males. Both of them kind of showing off, going, "Hey man, don't mess with these pinchers."
Oh, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, are we gonna get gonna show off? One's gonna yield, I think. There's another big male and another. Gosh, so many crabs. It is wild to see so many of these animals all in one spot. But now we've kind of come to where the rocks are along this side of the bridge. And we've got all these big riprap rocks that create this kind of rocky habitat, which is different than what we're used to seeing in the South Sound. So this is like the normal habitat here, where we have sand and shell debris, a few rocks here and there. But this big rocky section is more similar to what you'd find like up in the San Juan Islands and in certain locations along the Sound. And so this creates this habitat that fosters different species. Oh, look here, we've got another mottled sea star. This one kind of hanging in there, drooping a bit with the low tide. Not as droopy as this leather star though. This happens, is totally natural. And the sea stars will be just fine. They just sort of have to hang in there, waiting for the tide to be on its way back and support them. We're going to see some other softer bodied animals like anemones that are also quite at the mercy of gravity when the water leaves them behind. But wow, just the color on this beautiful leather sea star is gorgeous. Beautiful blue. Oh, look, and I'm seeing there is a little orange sea cucumber tucked right in there too. I was gonna say there's one here. This one we can see the tentacles on. When they're out of the water, they look like weird little hot dogs. When they're in the water, they have these beautiful bright orange tentacles that extend out. Here's a great find. There's a chitin here. A very ancient species that's been on Earth since before the dinosaurs, several million years. Very, very successful body plan there with, they have 8 plates and they're surrounded by a fleshy girdle. I'm going to go this way, I think, just for easier travel. This is where my cinematography skills get a little wild. But, oh, I can show you, there is a sea cucumber that's in the water right now. So I can show you right here. This is the orange sea cucumber. You can see one that's closed up kind of right here. So this is the closed end. This is the open end. And they either have bright, like fluorescent orange tentacles, or they have this dark maroon tentacles. Oh, look, here's a little sculpin. Adorable little fish that don't have swim bladders. Oh, there's another one right there. And these fish hang out on the bottom unless they're actively swimming. And they're foraging and feeding on a lot of the shrimp things that are here. Because there's just so many. Oh, we got some spot prawns over here. And some larger shrimp. Maybe some coon stripes shrimp. It's hard to tell from here. But let's keep making our way along. Again, still with these tons and tons of kelp crabs. We've seen thousands so far. I like to peek down into the crevices and see what we can see. Look down in here. There's a big red rock crab hiding out back there. You see that beautiful animal? Got a nice one. Oh, yeah. Another mottled sea star. Oh, he's as extra.
Well, maybe not. I can't tell.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
But that one looks like it's split.
Oh, yeah. So, I have to try not to step on things like this little sea star. They're asking about sand dollars. Yes, there are sand dollars at this beach, but not on this side. They're going to be on, there's a little lagoon on the other side of the bridge.
Crawl across all these rocks before we see those.
Yeah, we gotta kind of make our way around the point a bit. Oh, there's a live red rock and a dead red rock.
Ooh, good size.
Yeah, that's eating size, they say. They, for legal size, need to be 6 1/4 inches across the back, and they also have to be in season, which is regulated by Fish and Wildlife. Oh, there's a nice orange sea cucumber getting run over by a crab, so it's probably going to close up. This is an older crab we can see because of the barnacles that are on its carapace. And those barnacles take a while to get large. Ooh, there's that stinky dead crab around here. Good thing we don't have smell-o-vision, huh, Facebook? All right. Just keep making my way around. What we might want to do, Lindsay, is actually go up, and then there's a path along the top, and then drop back down. But here is an anemone. This is a painted anemone, also called a Christmas anemone because of that red and green colors on the column. And this one has everted a little bit, so we're looking inside of its mouth. It's got a little bit of a kind of a prolapse happening. And that's just because the tide is out. So as soon as the tide comes back in, they'll bring their insides back in and look a lot more dignified. But when the tide is out, it's a rough time to be an anemone for sure. Oh, see, there's one tucked under there that has their tentacles. They're beautiful tentacles. Out. Capturing food. Okay. Do I want to go up or do I want to go over? I feel like we could probably go over. Staying close to the shore is going to show us more animals. We've got more mottled sea stars, lots more kelp crabs, more anemones kind of tucked in the corners down in here. Ooh, there's a big leather star.
There's some good sized anemones here too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really pretty anemones down in here.
Is this the best site for Christmas anemones?
This is, yeah, I find more Christmas anemones here than anywhere else.
The rocks?
Yeah, the rocks. They really like the rocks, and probably a pretty decent current through here too, which is
Another
gonna.
mottled on this rock here.
Oh yeah, good. Oh yeah, nice.
Is that two? Can't tell.
It's hard to tell when you can only see parts of the animals. And part of the reason why we're going so slow is it's raining right now, so these rocks are slippery. You can see just how clear it is. Oh, look, there's some plumose anemones over there. Some big white ones. They look ridiculous when the tide goes up. Oh, look, here is a really cool snail. This is called a leafy hornmouth. And this is a barnacle eating snail, so it's no surprise that we see them out right here where the barnacles are. Let me get a little better position and I can show you some of their cool features. So that little tooth that you see up the top there, that is their little appendage they use for breaking into barnacles. They'll kind of pry in between the plates of the barnacle, and then they have a radula like all snails to scrape and eat through, so they can also drill with that. And then we're also seeing the foot, that's the white part, and then that brown thing is the operculum, which is their trap door. And on this species, sometimes you can see their trap door and count the rings on it, which will tell you how old they are. But a snail this size is probably 3 to 4 years old, maybe older. And here's kind of my hand for some scale. So, you know, we're talking 3 inches long or so. What are you finding?
I think I just saw a sailfin sculpin.
Oh, that would be...
Look at it.
Oh, there is.
Is it?
There it is.
Yes.
Good eyes, Lindsay. That is indeed a sailfin sculpin. One of my most favorite fish. And that looks like a big male. Oh, there's a gunnel over there. Looking like a big eel.
Right here.
Oh, can't high. Don't fall on your...
Okay, it's going back.
Yeah,
You see
I
it?
see it. I see it.
Oh,
what an
so
amazing
pretty.
find. This is a gorgeous fish. I love to see these animals.
It's so majestic how it swims.
And they undulate their little dorsal fin. Oh, fantastic. Good eyes. All right, you're my new good luck charm. Okay, I have to go up here because if I don't, I'm gonna slip on my buns. Yeah, go high, don't go low. Oh, but goodness, look what we've got up here. We're now to aggregating Anemone Town. And there are so many. There's 3 huge ones right here. I mean, this is my hand for some scale. So we're talking really big anemones. Wow. But then, take a look at the rocks over here. They're now everywhere at this tidal height. Every rock is covered with them. So many. They have this beautiful, beautiful green column, and then they have bright pink tentacles. And if I can show you with my black light here, they fluoresce underneath black light. How amazing is that? Here, let me turn the flash off for a second so you can really see. They're bright, bright colors. They're everywhere. Yeah, like when you take a look back. So many of these anemones. And these anemones have a really interesting reproductive strategy. They will clone themselves. And sometimes you can find them in that process. They kind of elongate like a hot dog, and then they tear themselves in two. It's called fission, binary fission, where they just split. Yeah, why don't I go that way? That seems like a much better,
That is too close to the edge.
well, plus I don't want to squish on anemones.
I'm not concerned you falling.
I mean, thank you for that. I'm more concerned for anemones.
That's why I'm here to make sure you don't fall because you're thinking about the anemone.
Yeah, it's a good plan. We're a good team, Lindsay. I like it. Okay, so you can kind of see, we've traveled up a little bit, and you can kind of see where the barnacles stop on the underside of these rocks. This is about the limit of the high tide regularly comes. We'll have some tides that are higher than that, that we call king tides, the highest tides of the year. And we just had some that first week in January. But we're right up underneath the bridge here, so we're gonna travel that way and then scamper our way down, because that's where some more interesting creatures are. So thanks for hanging in here with the terrible filming quality that's going on right now. Yeah, let me switch my light over to a little bit brighter. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Makes it a little easier to see. And actually, I want to go down this side where I know. Oh, hey, look, we've got a trash cleanup effort going on down here. Love to see that. Thank you to whomever is responsible for that. So, all these rocks gathered together here make for exceptional quality of habitat. Hold on, my headlamp has this feature where I can swipe in front of it and it turns off, which is not as helpful of a feature as you think. But I can't remember which button it is. No, I can see the path I want to take. But choose one for yourself. That's a good one. So. Are you going straight down to the beach? Yeah, pretty much. I have to kind of waver a little. So all this rock is really permanent. So, I mean, we would hope, right? This is the foundation for the bridge and the road. But being really permanent is great for intertidal creatures, which have to deal with the daily fluctuations of the tide, right? We have 2 high tides and 2 low tides every single day. And so all these animals have to be adapted to being covered by water and exposed. And having non-moving substrate like this is very attractive to many creatures, because if your home is not going to move, then you can kind of be fairly secure. Okay. Ooh, here's another leafy hornmouthed snail. A really nice big one. Look at this beautiful species right here. And there, I mean, it's pretty sucked tightly on there, so we'll leave that one be. If I find a looser one, I can show you. All right, you made it. More crabs, big surprise. We've got more of the same over here. But on this side, we can get access to underneath the bridge. So we've got more kelp crabs. So many kelp crabs. This is not a beach to go barefoot on. Ooh, we've got another heron. You can just sort of hear it. I can see it with my eyes, but I doubt my camera is picking it up. Although maybe. Let me know if you saw that heron go by. But yeah, all this rock is really great habitat. And then there are some animals that'll use this habitat like their whole lives. Like barnacles, once they settle in a place, they're gonna stay there forever. They can't move. These sea cucumbers, once they settle, they really don't do a whole lot of moving. The snails will move a little bit. The limpets and chitons will move a little bit. The crabs are pretty mobile. But then there are animals that are going to use this habitat infrequently. So things like juvenile fish that are going to hide amongst these rocks while they're growing larger. It's a really safe place to be. In fact, I just saw a gunnel. It looks like a little snake in the middle of that screen there. It's hiding. We'll see if it'll move out in a second. It's kind of a little yellowy friend. But tons of fish will use this as kind of a juvenile development site. Oh, check this out. we've got a hermit crab. In fact, 2 hermit crabs here in 2 different kinds of shells, but my guess is there's either going to be a shell exchange or we're witnessing perhaps some mating where the male crabs will carry the female crabs around until they're able to molt and able to have their eggs fertilized. There's lots of, here's another hermit crab here. This one's in a barnacle shell. So it's not quite a snail shell, but it'll work in a pinch to cover their soft abdomen. I'll leave you there, little friend. Right where we saw you. Again, more leather stars. Yeah, another mottled. Yeah, this one's a pretty blue color. Love to see those blue ones. Like, I shouldn't have favorites. I should see the worth in, you know, all these creatures. And I guess to a point I do. But sometimes you just find something so extraordinary, you can't help but exclaim about it. All right, let's get the big flashlight out and take a look at these pilings here.
Oh, look at all this shell material.
Yeah, that's all barnacles. So what Lindsay's walking on right now is all barnacle shell debris. I mean, there's probably some clams in there too, but mostly that's barnacles.
Mussel.
Yeah, because there's so many barnacles here. Speaking of barnacles, there are some giant barnacles I can show you, but I have to get over there a couple pilings in. So let's just talk about what's here for now. Got some more chitons. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that gunnel. Beautiful red color. It's like raspberry pink. Love seeing these big, gorgeous fish. And they're blending in with the red algae. It's hard to see from up here, but there's a lot of this Turkish towel and filamentous red algae that's perfect for that little fishy to blend in with.
And many more large red rock on this side compared to the juveniles.
Yeah, the juveniles like it, I think, more like open. And the adults just kind of are like, here's a good rock, I'm going to plunk it right here and wait. Lots of juvenile chitons. Little ones on the rocks. Some more sea cucumbers. There's another gunnel. Or maybe it's the same gunnel. Still bright pink. Okay, let's go down a little farther. So today's low tide is about a negative 1.4 right now. And we're able to reach just about the base of these pilings here. Which kind of gives you an idea of how far the tide goes out regularly. The 0-foot tide is the average of the low tide. Check out this beautiful red rock crab. Oh yeah, those guys are always there. There's usually a Christmas.
The one that's been here since.
Yeah, they've been here forever. I've been checking on these anemones for a while now. Have to be careful where I put my feet so I don't step on a crab or any of these other amazing animals. But I want to show you this chiton right here. It's a beautiful species. They have these 8 plates along their back, and then they have this fleshy girdle on the outside. Excuse me, crab, that's my foot. Not that you would know, it doesn't really look like a foot. It looks like a rock. There's my foot blending in. So we've got a handful of these big red rock crabs underneath here. Sorry for the road noise. Luckily, late at night, there's not too much traffic. Oh, here's another gunnel. This one's a little more mottled in coloration. Gunnels get called eels frequently because they're very eel-like. They're long and skinny and they swim side to side. Oh, here's one with his little face poking out. Hello, little gunnel friend. Aren't you adorable? But we don't have true eels here in the Pacific Northwest. Our water's just too cold for them. But we do have many fish that masquerade as eels, like gunnels and pricklebacks and mossy-headed warbonnets and monkey-faced pricklebacks, and there's a whole slew of them. Very eel-like fishes. Ooh, okay. Now I have to figure out where I'm putting my feet. Look at this beautiful anemone here. This is another painted anemone. This one's just much drabber in coloration, but then next to it are these moon glow anemones. Sorry, I probably can't stick my phone in between these rocks or I'll lose my service. But these are beautiful species of kind of sand-dwelling anemones. They have these great stripes on their tentacles, and they quite often will fluoresce under black light. So let me turn my flash off and turn my black light on and see if we get any glowing happening. Not too much. Surprising. I thought those guys would have lit up, but no. Ooh. Oh yeah. So Lindsay's spying. Oh yeah, those are ochres.
Oh, there's an ochre. Well, they're all ochres.
So look, we got some big humped up ochre stars. That means they're eating probably some giant barnacles, which is what all over these rocks. Here's one right here, but this one doesn't have a barnacle inside. This one has a pygmy rock crab. Oh no, it does have a barnacle inside. You can just see those trapdoors. It's also got an anemone inside there. All of these barnacles, these giant ones, get about as big as your fist. And then there are thatched barnacles, which here's a thatched barnacle right here. You can kind of see there, looks like they're made out of hay. And then we have the acorn barnacles, these little guys, and they're all moving. You can see them kind of opening their trapdoors just ever so slightly. Still feeding even though the tide's not here. They'll figure it out. So much life here. This is one of my favorite spots to come and just look because of all this life and death. Look, we got a dead red rock crab who's become a meal for this leather stars here. And there's usually also some of my favorite snails. Yeah, we've got some top snails here. They have these really triangular rounded shells. Yeah, those are plumose anemones. So the white ones are plumose. Yeah, they're just babies. And then these ones are the aggregating. Yeah, when they're babies, that's pretty common. Especially the gray ones, for some reason. Right next to them. So see those little holes where my flashlight is? They're really, really tiny holes. Those are tube worms. I forget the common name for them. I heard some splashing over here. Sometimes that means there's a fish out of water. Sometimes it means there's like a sea star that fell off of the rocks because they do droop down. But right here, I want to just show you all of these dog winkle snails that are laying eggs. This is a big breeding aggregation. And you can see the eggs right up in there. Those little yellow, looks like kind of grains of rice standing on end are their eggs. And I just discovered that these do glow under black light. So let me break out the black light and show you. How cool is that? They just light up incredibly bright. And a lot of times the fluorescing proteins are from a type of sunscreen that protects these animals from the UV rays. Their operculums also glow. So you can kind of see the back half of those snails is glowing green too. Oh, that is so cool. I gotta do more research on that. So many snails. There's about to be more. Let me go show you these anemones while I have my flash off. See if I can turn off this headlamp here and show you. Look at the glowing green anemones. Theirs is for, sorry, I have to check where I'm sticking my feet so I don't step on any creatures. But theirs is for sun protection because the anemones that are growing in the dark or with without access to sunlight, they don't have this. They kind of look bleached. Isn't that awesome? Like, so crazy. And again, apologies for the terrible film quality because I have to try to not walk on animals and talk and read sometimes all at the same time. It's quite difficult. Here's another blue mottled star I can show you, as well as there's a couple of way down in there. See those little hot dogs? Those are sea cucumbers. Little Salish sea sausages. This is the Mottled Sea Star. We've seen several of them tonight. They come in a variety of colors. That one's blue. Tucked up under here is an orange one. They like to be a little bit higher in the intertidal zone than their cousins, the ochre stars. And then the leather stars are just kind of all over. Super cool. What was your favorite thing we saw tonight?
Sylvan Sculpin.
Oh, yeah. That was amazing.
I think the last time I saw one of those was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, they've been reclassified, and they're in the sea robin family now, with silver spot sculpins. But I'm still gonna call them a sculpin. Oh, that purple on the ochre star is just gorgeous. Look at that color. This is just a beautiful sea star, and this is one that has just incredible texture. So this white little bits that you see are their hard calcium carbonate skeleton that protrudes through their skin, and then they have purple skin and purple gills. That little cream dot is called the madreporite, and that is how they get seawater into their body systems. They use seawater as their blood in this hydraulic pump system to power their tube feet, which is why when they're out of water, they can't really do much movement. So all these animals that are kind of just sitting here waiting for the tide to return, they can't go anywhere. Like this one is just folded backwards, showing us their underside and their little tube feet. You can also see the gills on this one. On that kind of bottom part there, there's little clear fuzzy bits. Those are the gills. This one here has got a good view of the gills. And sea stars will never let anything grow on them, so you won't find like barnacles or seaweed or anything living on their top surface because that would block their gills. And the way they defend against that is with these things called pedicelaria. What'd you find? Oh! That is stinking cool. That's a cormorant.
Is it a cormorant?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it could be a merganser,
The black at the top, yeah.
but fairly positive that this is a double-crested cormorant beak. Amazing. They have this really hooked beak because they are carnivores. They're eating fish. They're a diving bird. Oh, you found the bottom jaw too? That's incredible. Wow. What a find. Lindsay, bravo.
I mean, Sylvan Sculpin and a cormorant skull.
Yeah, you win.
Good luck charm.
You win the good luck charm. This is not a dumb question to ask if sea stars have eyes, because they do. And it's probably, if they had a brain, they would be very weirdly freaked out by the fact that we're shining lights on them when it's supposed to be nighttime. But the very tip of each arm, as it kind of turns upward, is their eye spot. But they don't have a brain to really process a ton of visual imagery. So it's not like the left arm is sharing with the other arms what it's seeing, or there's like a mind to process that all. But they do use light and dark to navigate a little bit, and they've done studies on them in the tropics that show that they can recognize landmarks and kind of use that to orient their bodies. Very cool. This ochre star could catch and eat these leather sea stars, but there's so much other food that is easier to catch. I don't think these other animals are at risk being so close to it. I'm not worried for them. I don't think they're very worried either. But yeah, this is just such a crazy find here. Still geeking out about this bird skull. Bird skulls are very delicate, and so to find one so intact is kind of amazing. No brain inside there, which means it's been dead a while. It doesn't even stink, which is great. Because I've made that mistake before of reaching in and grabbing something dead and then smelling like it for the rest of the night. Super cool, Lindsay. Great finds. I'm so impressed. You just need to come to the beach more often, I guess. All right, friends. Well, I think we're going to sign off now so that we can walk carefully across the rocks without trying to talk and walk and not crush creatures and whatnot. We'll maybe film a few videos that we can post to our Instagram and YouTube and TikTok later. So thanks for tuning in with us. We really do appreciate all the likes and shares and comments and the ways that you support us and donate to our organization. We are a nonprofit group, so if you like the work that we do, you can make a donation right on our website, harborwildwatch.org, or right here through the Facebook app. Thanks so much, everybody. We will be back with some more low tides coming up in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. And always, you can subscribe to our newsletter and know what's happening. Woohoo! Thanks, everybody.